Hi there, my name's Michael. I'm from Scotland. I've been staying over here since 2014. I was brought up in a town called Greenock in Scotland. I was brought up by my mother. My father died when I was only 2.5 or something. So I was really brought up with my mother and my gran. So I looked up to my granda as my father figure. My granda passed away when I was 10 or something, so I didn't have a father figure in my life. My mother's partners and that at the time were alcoholics, you know what I mean? They weren't really that good. So I looked up to drug dealers. I looked up to the hard men that in my scheme. And I wanted to be like them, you know what I mean? I wanted to do drugs, you know what I mean? I wanted the nice car and the nice bird and things like that. I had a good up, but I was loved off my family. I was loved off my mother and my granddad. They used to spoil us rotten. I think that was maybe a bit of a problem too. They always get spoiled with the best of everything. Lots of love, but I'd say the discipline, I don't know if it wasn't there, I wasn't listening to the discipline. So I would be running about with my friends in the street and that all the time. I started smoking cannabis at a very young age, high school, about 13 or something. This progressed onto harder drugs, acid, everything down the line. I ended up on heroin. I was on heroin for maybe 18 years or something. I was on heroin. I went into the Teen Challenge programme called The Haven in Scotland. When I was at my 21st birthday in there. And that's where I first became aware of God. That is a faith-based programme. They teach you about God. And I had a glimpse of the goodness, how good these people were. But at the same time, as I get better and I came off drugs, I wanted to go and do my own thing. I wanted to go back out again. I wanted to go out and chase women. You know what I mean? I was only 21. So I ended up doing that. And within a couple of weeks, if it was that, I was back down spiral, back into heroin, blues, everything, every drug you can think of. Mostly heroin. I was really bad in heroin. So it took us about 12 years, full circle, till I got back into the Haven again. I was in the Haven. This is when it really had an impact on my life. I stayed, just before I went back into the Haven, I stayed 2 doors away from my mother. And she would buy me my food and feed me and things like that. I was really bad. I was that bad on drugs. I would have my blinds closed, my door locked. I would go down to the chemist to get my methadone and straight back up and lock my door. I was that paranoid. I was really in a bad place with Valium, taking a lot of Valium on top of my methadone and heroin. And I cried. I remember crying out to God, saying, God, if you're real, you're going to need to do something, because I'm going to kill myself. You know what I mean? In a really bad place. And, I started reading my Bible and that again, because I remembered the way I was the first time I was in, about 12, whatever year it was before. So God spoke to me through, but I think it's in Mark, Bartimaeus. He spoke to us through that, where he says to the disciples came, Bartimaeus was crying out, and people were telling him to be quiet. Jesus sent the disciples to him and said, cheer up, on your feet, he's calling you. And that really touched me. It like jumped to the words became real. And I felt alive. You know what I mean? I felt alive even though I was in a really, really bad place. You know what I mean? I thought, I'm going to get back into Haven again. I'm going to go down on Sunday. I'm going to go down on Sunday to church and try and get back in here again. So on a Sunday, I went down. And everything was alive to us. Everything was like speaking God, everything was speaking God to us, you know what I mean? The bees about were cut across dams to get down there, bees and all that. The grass, Everything was all alive, the clouds. And I was still on my methadone at this time. I was thinking, no, this is God that's doing this. It's not them doubt thoughts that's coming in. No, this is because you're on your methadone, you're just feeling good, you're excited, or whatever. No, this is God that's doing this. So I get down to the church, but I can't remember the denomination of the church, but I opened the doors, the alarm went off in the church. Because when they go in to pray, they sit, I can't remember the denomination, they sit, they lock the doors in case somebody comes in. But they opened, Donnie Black opened the door to us. He was one of the men that ran the Haven, so he recognised us from them years before. And he took us in, we were glad to see us, took us in. That was the wheels turning for me to get back into the Haven again. I was doing everything I could. I was going to Bible study. I was reading my Bible all the time when I wasn't at Bible study. Or there was this thing called a meal and the message in the church where you could go, they would give you a meal, but you would need to sit and listen to the message about Jesus. So I would go to that too. And they got us in very quickly. I was in within a matter of weeks. I think I'd done about a year in the Haven and I had an opportunity to come to Ireland. I came to Glyn in Ireland. I started working up there. That's where I met Amory, met my partner now. But I kind of had a falling out through being not meant to go with girls. So I got put out of there after about a year and a half or something. So I was still with Amory, but I got kicked out of the place where I was because it was Tiglin, the place that ran it. I was staying in the one-room apartment with Amory till we get somewhere better, but it slowly declined where it was starting to smoke again. The odd drink with other friends, you know what I mean? So that went down. Amory he became pregnant and we lost a child, you know what I mean? That put us down another slope, you know what I mean? I was clean for a couple of years, slowly declining. We weren't bad, by no means, but you've got to watch what you're doing. You used to take drugs, anything, you know what I mean? You've got to put your whole faith in God. When I met Amory, I took my eyes off God, you know what I mean? My eyes were on Amory then, you know what I mean? We weren't thinking of God first, we were thinking, I was thinking of Amory first, and you can't do that. I know now, you've got to put God first. You know what I mean? You've got to think of God first. Somebody said that it was a staff member. And I thought, I was kind of angry at him. Who's he's talking to kind of thing, you know what I mean? How to put God first. I wasn't in the right place to think that. Now I know you've got to put God first, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it sounds cruel, but I love God more than I love Anne-Marie, my kids. But loving God more makes me love them more, you know what I mean? I think of them more, you know what I mean? I put them first. I'm not selfish anymore. I always think I take things back to scripture. Well, we ended up back very bad on drugs again. Very bad on heroin, just heroin. We spoke to somebody we know through Antonio. Went down to his house and met Antonio. They prayed for us, John Edwards, Antonio, and the rest of the team, the rest of the guys. And since then, I've not took nothing. You know what I mean? I've been clean since then. I've been clean. I started going to the Lighthouse and been there a couple of weeks, and Antonio said, you guys should come to church. It's Shannon Christian Church. We're online or whatever. So I started following them online, and one Sunday I seen Elton preach. I was saying to him, yeah, he's a really good preacher. I was like, I like him. I was like, next week we're going to go to church. So since then, we've been coming to Shannon Christian Church.